Right, so to be mindful of your time today, we'll go ahead and get started, and there may be some others that trickle in. But first and foremost, thank you all for participating today and spending your afternoon with us to learn more about how to research franchise opportunities and how to get started in the franchising world. We've got Kathy Petcash with us, and I'll do a brief overview of the SBDC and who we are and what we do. My name is Bernita Platt, and I am a consultant in the Myrtle Beach office. And Janet Graham, who's also on the call, is our area manager. But first, I'll tell you a little bit about what we do at the SBDC, and then I will turn it over to Kathy and allow her to tell you all about franchising opportunities and how to get started. So, first thing about the SBDC and who we are really a best kept secret. We are a nationwide program, a network of 62 programs and about 1,000 centers across the nation. SBDCs were established in 1979, and we have professional trained advisors throughout each state and each network nationwide. We provide consulting services primarily, as well as training services, and we work to provide connections between our clients and other resources. In addition to that, we operate under the SBA and their national accreditation standards, and we're funded by Congress. So we are an SBA resource partner. We work directly with them. We do most of the things that they do, but we are a separate entity. Our mission at the SCSBDC is to advance South Carolina's economic development by helping entrepreneurs grow successful businesses. And we carry out our mission by providing these educational seminars and tutorials and things much like what we're doing today. We've got 20 centers in urban and rural South Carolina. We have a team of professionals that provide individual, private consulting sessions. So if you'd like to work with the SBDC, you first will submit a request for consultation, and that allows us to provide assistance to you. Everything that we talk with you about in those counseling sessions is completely confidential always. Again, we also provide educational workshops and seminars. And then again, we have a network of other professionals that we can refer you out to if necessary. And we also provide a number of tools, resources, and other information to help you grow your business. We serve established businesses at the SBDC, any entrepreneurs that are starting new businesses, so pre-ventures. And we also serve various industry segments. We do not serve, however, nonprofits or companies that are debarred or suspended from doing business with any federal agency or agencies. The services that we provide primarily are financial management and loan application assistance. We've done a lot of that in recent COVID eras. So we do lots of loan assistance and application. We also offer operations and HR system management, marketing plans and strategies, website and social media and design, youth strategies. We also provide business plan assistance as well as strategic planning, sales and growth strategies. And we also assist companies with obtaining various certifications, some of those being minority, women-owned, and others. Additional services that we offer, we do have consultants throughout our network that can provide exporting assistance. We have some that can assist you directly with those government contracts, whether it's a state contract program or a federal program. We also offer guidance on product and technology commercialization. If you have a product that you're ready to take to market or that you need a patent on, copyrights and trademarks as well. And we also provide basic quality processes, metrics, and SPC. And then lastly, we provide assistance with diversification plans as well as how to fit together your concept with your core business. So there's a lot of value when you work with the SBDC. On average, most businesses see about 1.5% of job growth. SBDC clients on average experience about 17.7% of job growth in a year. On sales growth, or in terms of sales growth, on average, most businesses see 5.6% growth in terms of sales. SBDC clients see about 18% each year. So those are really, really good numbers. And we work with our clients to help them further develop their businesses and to grow them. A few more results of some of the things that we've assisted our clients with between 2015 and 2019. We've helped our clients to create and save almost 6,200 jobs. We've helped our clients to obtain $1.5 billion in government contracts, which does include the awards under the PTAC program, which is a different program. We've also helped our clients obtain $284 million in financing, and we've helped our clients to start 916 businesses. Our motto is Ask Us, We Can Help. So in the Myrtle Beach office is myself. My name is Bernita Platt. And again, Janet Graham, who is our area manager and senior consultant. If we can help you in the Myrtle Beach office, we serve Horry and Georgetown counties. You are welcome to reach out to us. And our phone number is 843-349-4010. Or you can reach us by email at mbareasbdc@coastal.edu. And if you would like to submit a request for assistance, hop over to our website, which is scsbdc.com, and you'll see a blue button in the top corner that says sign up to request. And if you do that, that will go straight to our office if you're in Horry or Georgetown County. We're big on small business at the SBDC. We are a part of the America's SBDC network. If we can help you, feel free to reach out to us and let us know. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kathy Petcash. Kathy is a franchise specialist with FranNet. She is all things franchising. She is a franchising guru of sorts. So you all are in great hands today. Feel free to type questions in the chat box if you have them, and we'll stop throughout the presentation and field as many questions as we possibly can. And with that, Kathy, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Am I sharing yet? Let's see.
Not yet.
Excuse us while we, whoops. While we get through the technical difficulties here. Is that working, Bernita?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you. And I'm excited to be here, and I want to give kudos back to the SBDC. They've helped several of my clients, and also refer, and we work together to help folks that come into the SBDC if they think franchising might be a direction for them. I'm happy just to have a conversation with you. And I'll be the first one to tell you, maybe this isn't the right path for you, because I want you to be successful. And in order to be successful, it's very important that you research the franchise opportunities that you're interested in a very systematic and thorough way. And that's what I can help you do. So let's just get started. And if I ask you, I usually do this in my live presentations, ask you to name a franchise, I'm sure you will say McDonald's, or at least 90% of you, that's the first one that comes to mind. Why? Well, it's been around for about 70 years now. It was one of the, well, I guess it was the first business that organized and formed a franchise. And we're going to bring in McDonald's a little bit as we go through. But if you've researched franchises and think, well, let me just look at McDonald's, you probably went, oh my goodness, because you probably saw the bottom line, how much is it going to cost you? Around $2 million. So one of the first educational points I want to make to you today is you do not have to spend $2 million for a franchise. That is a big myth, that all franchises are very expensive. I'm going to show you some statistics a little bit later. Basically, I represent companies from 50,000 up to about 800,000. Majority of my clients I work with probably average around 150,000 all in to open the door of that business. So we're going to talk about cost, because not only is it not $2 million to start every franchise out there, but the other thing I want you to know is it's not all about French fries. There are lots of opportunities that are not related to food. So we're going to talk about that today too. So who am I? Well, Kathy Petcash. I have an accounting background. I have been in the corporate area for about, I guess it was about 18 years when I took an early retirement package. I was with Hewlett-Packard and had a great career and developed some of the skills that I feel are valuable for you if you come to me for help in looking at business opportunities. I also believe I developed my communication skills and project management skills as I was in the Hewlett-Packard arena. So the point I'm making here is the skills that you have developed over your career for the last several years, you can transfer those into running your own business. I also, after I left HP, I bought an existing business, a flower shop. And it is not a franchise. I bought an existing one. And I must say, my friends and my financial advisor thought I had really fallen into the ocean. I bought it in St. Simons Island, Georgia. But what I want to emphasize here again is the skills that you need to start your own business. I didn't do the flowers. Nope. I was able at the end of when I sold the business after 5 years, I had advanced to plucking the tops off the roses and throwing them down the aisle for the bride. Well, I guess I scattered them. I have to watch my terminology. But so we're going to talk about skills and what business is right for you. So I have been working with FranNet since I left HP for about 15 years now. And I love what I do. I am an accountant from way back. I've been in the business world and I love business. I love seeing how they run, how they operate, how to make them successful. So being exposed to over 3,600 franchise opportunities out there, I go through a lot of learning and I enjoy it. Also, I get personal satisfaction from helping individuals finally realize their dream of business ownership. So I enjoy what I do. And I did put one other beautiful picture down here in the bottom of the screen. That's my baby. That's Lily. And she's there for a couple of purposes. I'm proud of her. But when I work with clients, I want to get to know you personally because we're going to be working together. It usually takes about 3 months for someone to go through this process. And I want to understand not only your financial goals, your professional goals and skills, but I want to understand your personal life because I think those 3 categories are very key for you starting a business that's going to work. And so I'll let you know a little bit about me. And the other reason Lily's down here is you see this beautiful haircut. Actually, a franchisee here in Charleston grooms her every 6 weeks. It's called Ozzy Pet Mobile. So as I said, it's not all about franchise. The gentleman who started this business 4 years ago started with 1 truck, 1 groomer. He now has 7 trucks and 10 groomers. So that's quite a growth over the last 4 years. And I'm real proud of him. So I like to promote him whenever I can. So who is FranNet? The organization that I represent. Well, Bernita, you said that I loved your line when you said the SBDC is one of the best kept secrets. Well, I think we're even kept even better as a secret. We've been around for over 30 years, but a lot of people don't know about us. And I appreciate the association that we have with the SBDC and with the school organization. And we've been around for over 30 years. We have consultants across North America, US, and Canada. And we really specialize in having consultants like myself in major cities so that we can work with people individually. And we know the geography, we know the demographics, we know the business needs within the community where those people actually live. So that's why we really focus on local assistance with our clients. I serve folks throughout South Carolina. And like I said, I love what I do. So what do we do? Well, we match people who want to be in business to a franchise that will meet their goals. Now, I've been called a matchmaker, but just remember, I'm a matchmaker in business and not in love. So, but yeah, that's what we do. And I'm going to go over the process of how I do that and how I help people as we advance through the presentation today. And there is no cost for our services. As Bernita said, there's no cost to use the SBDC services. And we will team together with the SBDC to help find you a business, whether you're in Myrtle Beach or Georgetown, or maybe you're moving and need to relocate and help finding something in your new city. So with that, let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. And the basic that I do in these presentations is I want to educate you. I want to educate you on franchise ownership and really business ownership overall a little bit. But so keep this in mind that this is education. And that's the first step you should do if you're starting any type of business. So why business ownership? Why would you go down this path? Let me tell you, it's not all that easy, okay? But with the resources and the help that you can get, you can do this. So I want to talk about risks and rewards of business ownership. And how do you start a business? There's actually 3 ways to start a business. You can start it from scratch. You can buy an existing business like I did with the flower shop, or you can invest in a franchise business. Now, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of each of those options to help you start thinking about, well, which is right for me. There's a lot of myths out there about franchising. Like I said, if you've looked at McDonald's and, oh my gosh, $2 million, and then you already just make the assumption, oh, franchising is too expensive. I can't do that. Well, be careful with assumptions and myths, and be sure and get the realities and the facts. And that's what we're going to talk about also today. And overall, I'm going to be explaining all this facts to you so that you can begin your research into finding a business that's right for you. At FranNet, we have perfected our process over the last 35 years, I believe, 37 maybe this year. We've kept track of our franchisees, and I'm going to show you some facts on how well they're doing as we proceed through the presentation. One of the key things I want to talk about when we're doing our research is building your personal business model. I'll explain that later, but basically the thing is, some people go into a business because they love the ice cream. Oh my gosh, I love ice cream. I want to start a Cold Stone Creamery. Well, what I want to point out is you need to go into a business because you have a passion for running your own business, not just because you love the ice cream. So we're going to talk about what your personal business model is and how to go about creating that. So why business ownership? The first item on the agenda. Well, these are some of the reasons I have people when they come to me, I'll say, why are you doing this? And most of them are lacking something in their professional life, in their current job, or they're not making the financial numbers they need to make to keep their family happy. And then again, some of them are really road warriors and they want to be home. They want to be more in town when their kids are having their soccer games. They want to be there when there's a crisis. So the independence, the flexibility, the financial security, and no more layoffs. Some folks have been laid off for the third time, and it's like, nope, I'm going to follow my dream and start something. So think about what's in it for you. Why would you make this big step to open your own business? Is it one of these or something else? Well, people may be lacking in one of those areas in their career or in their personal life or financially, yet most people will go ahead and take another job, work for someone else. So why is that? Well, risk. Risk or perceived risk of business ownership. So again, to educate you today, I want you to be sure and get the facts and maybe open your mind a little bit to dig down further in your research before you just say, nope, I can't do it because there's too many risks. It costs too much money. I don't know how to go about it. And I definitely don't have the skills. So let's talk about these areas. I'm going to go into detail about risks that you see and will have. Look at the last year we've gone through. It's been a tough year. And most people are saying, well, I'm just going to wait until it's safer for a business and until the economy gets better. Well, some of those people from last year are still waiting and they're still looking for a job. I've already touched on it. Costs a lot of money to start and run a business. Well, as I said, there's a lot of businesses out there for under $100,000. Now, your definition of a lot of money will depend on you, but you don't have to spend $2 million. You don't even have to spend $500,000. Well, I don't know where to start and I don't know what I'm looking for. Well, that's where I can help. And that's what I'd love to do. People that really don't know where to start, or they know they want to start their own business, but they're not sure what business to do. I love working with folks like that because during the research and the analysis and the profile that we build, you will learn a lot about yourself and I will learn a lot about you that we can work together to find the best business. So skills. Running a business takes specific talents and skills. Well, yeah, but let's save that thought. You don't have to have the industry experience in a business that perhaps you've grown up in the gas and oil industry. Well, what are you going to find in the gas and oil industry for a franchise? Well, you know what? The skills you've developed during the year, whether it's management, operations, sales, you transfer those over into a new industry where you're still going to need those skills. So let's go further on risk. Yes, it's been a tough year. And over the last year, yes, a lot of businesses have gone out of business or have had to close for a while. We have seen this term essential services. In the past, I talked about recession-resistant services. that are safer in our economies. I've added the term essential services because that's what we've seen over the last year. Recession resistant? Well, I used to categorize hair salons as recession resistant because, hey, we got to get our hair cut, right? Well, what happened was a lot of my franchise owners, Supercuts, I had a gentleman up in the Columbia area who had opened 3 Supercuts about 5 years ago. He had to close them all down. He was a veteran. We worked together through the SBA. So he was delayed for several months. So I don't consider live and learn, as they say, hair salons as maybe a recession resistant. The pandemic was just a whole new thing we never experienced. But one thing we did experience is essential services. And those are the ones the government gave permission, if they could prove were essential service, to the homeowners or to another business, that those homeowners could live and still sustain their livelihood, and other businesses could continue, operating. So some of the essential services we saw was automotive, damage restoration. If there was a hurricane that came through last fall, you still had to get your house fixed and take care of the flooding. So damage restoration, commercial cleaning services, a lot of businesses that shut down use that time to go in and thoroughly sanitize and clean and paint and redo their businesses. So when they open, they would have a new front and a clean front. Other businesses that I like are ones that are driven by the demographics, and they do pretty much and have continued doing well, even though we were in a pandemic last year. Senior care services. My mother has senior care come into her home, and they continued coming into her home during the last year. Yes, a lot of safety was put in place, but she needed that. Cleaning services. Cleaning services, home cleaning actually increased last year. And there was actually a gentleman down in Myrtle Beach who started a home cleaning service last year during the pandemic. And then other businesses, I'm going to tell you, 2 things that have really happened over the last year are businesses had to redo their processes. The businesses that maybe tutor children, they had to set up different programs. The children couldn't come to them. They had to set up virtual tutoring and education classes. So there are businesses out there that help other businesses continue to grow and thrive during bad economic conditions. So let's be more specific. Cars still needed maintenance. One of the franchises out there I'm sure you've all heard of is Meineke. Homeowners, they were home. They were looking around. I know I did. I had my house painted. I had my windows washed. I had the outside power washed. There was a lot of home repairs and home services that were classified as essential services. And those businesses did very well during the pandemic and continued to grow because their name got out there better. A home repair service that you probably have heard of is Mr. Handyman. Senior citizens, as I said, I've had to continue with senior help for my mom in her home. One of them, a franchise out there that specializes in providing home care, is Always Best Care. And mosquitoes, hey, the mosquitoes didn't know anything about the pandemic. They were still out there. And guess what? Since people were home more, people were out in their yard more, the mosquito business really thrived. Had a gentleman up in Spartanburg that started a mosquitoes business last year. And as I said, tutoring. The children still needed tutoring. Tutor Doctor is one of the franchises I represent that I'm very impressed with what they did over the last year. The children were in the home, the parents were in the home, the parents were trying to work, keep the house, and educate their children and entertain their children. I don't know how mothers did it. I really don't. And so the Tutor Doctor, they actually helped the existing franchisees change their processes and develop new curriculum and ways to deliver that for the franchisees that had children that still needed tutoring. So this is a big advantage when you buy a franchise. You're paying them a royalty every month that basically that is to help them support you at all times, good times, bad times, whatever. And that's what I really saw last year with Tutor Doctor and several other franchises that came to the help of the franchisees and helped them make changes so they could survive their business during the pandemic. So why or how does a franchise reduce your risk? Why would you own a franchise versus starting your own business during this terrible pandemic? Well, a few things that the way a franchise will help you reduce your risk is, first of all, there's a lot more funding opportunities for a franchise business than starting something from scratch. And I'm going to go into where and how that happens. Also, when you buy a franchise, you're going to buy a roadmap from them, or what they will provide for you is a roadmap that tells you how to get started, your steps, 2, 3, 4, probably up to 40 or 50, step by step, how to launch that business. And as I said, what you're paying for in the future with your royalties is how to continue and get that support, how they can do the R&D and see how the market's changing. So that roadmap for success that the franchisor will provide for you and help you with is a great way to reduce your risk. I like to tell the story that when I bought the flower business, I thought I had the skills to run a business, which I believe I did. I had it successful for 5 years, but I really didn't know how to market that specific business. I found a coach that helped me understand the flower business. But the one thing that I really needed help with was how to market. And there was a flower shop literally 3 streets down from me. Okay. I could not go to that owner and say, I need some help on marketing. Do you think that owner was going to give me the answers on marketing the flower business? No, especially not in small town St. Simon's Island. With a franchise, if that had been a franchise, the franchisor would have helped me develop the marketing plan, the brochures, help me decide what was the right media. Was it social media? Was it newspaper? Was it radio? Whatever. So I really like that in the support that they give you. And the last thing I have on this slide is a franchise will reduce your risk by providing income security versus job security. Just think about that. Another risk reducer, if you will, is that a word? Anyway, is the FDD, the Franchise Disclosure Document. Franchise or franchisors are regulated by the government. Every franchise, and now let me do some clarification on words here. A franchise is like the brand name, the Meineke, the McDonald's, the Tudor Doctor that I've mentioned. The company that starts this franchise, who started McDonald's in 1950, that is the franchisor. The franchisor develops all these processes, the roadmaps, and all these things down here, the cost, the territories. You, if you're interested in opening a McDonald's or a Meineke or a Tudor Doctor or a Mosquito Squad or whatever, you will interact with the franchisor and you will purchase a license from that franchisor and you will become a franchisee. So I wanted to just kind of lay out those terms because I use them without explaining them sometimes. The franchisee is the individual, you or I or Renita or whomever, that buys a franchise license from the franchisor. So the government, for your protection, the franchisee, does require the franchisor, the creator of this business, to share with you their franchise disclosure document. That gives you everything about that franchise, their experience, their history, how they got started. I like this one, any litigation. Since we're really talking about McDonald's, do you remember, oh my gosh, was it 20 years ago? I remember it, when someone spilled a hot cup of coffee on their lap through the drive-thru at McDonald's and they were sued. Well, that litigation has to still be in that franchise disclosure document. So when you're doing your research, you can ask about any litigation that's noted in there and how it was resolved. How much does it cost to buy this franchise? Another thing that I like is every franchisee that has ever invested in this franchise is listed in the FDD, and you are free to contact them to get some feedback. So it's for your protection that this document is required, and you have to, the franchisor has to give you a copy of it. So that also helps reduce your risk when you're researching franchise opportunities. Well, now let's talk about different ways to start a business and specifically look at the pros and cons of each. First, let's talk about start a business from scratch. Well, Some of the advantages is, hey, this is your baby. You're building it. You have total control. You don't have to pay anyone a royalty, which, by the way, a royalty is a percentage of your gross sales that you pay to the franchisor for that continued support. So you don't have that if you start your own business. You're going to keep all the money. You're going to make all the decisions. You can build a business of your passion. Some of the disadvantages, well, you've got to create your own systems. McDonald's has been successful over the last 70 years because of the systems behind it. When you buy a McDonald's franchise, you are going to be given that roadmap and every to-do in the book that you have to make that. I actually knew a gentleman who had a cleaning service, and he actually got a McDonald's account. And he told me that when he went in as a vendor to clean those McDonald's stores, he had to clean exactly as McDonald's told him to, use the mops, use the cleaning fluid, everything. So it's those systems that help you jumpstart your business. And if you're starting a business from scratch, you got to figure that out all on your own. Inventory, payroll, marketing. Also, limited financial resources. You're going to find when you go to the bank to borrow some money to start a business from scratch, with Bernita's help, I know, but that bank is going to really probably not be real anxious to fund your business. Why? Because they're basically funding the business on you. You've got to have an excellent business plan, but what they don't have is they don't have any background experience, financials that you can share them with, because this is a new venture for you. You'll also see it's a very slow ramp up because you are creating all these systems, you're learning as you create. And from the 3 ways to start a business, starting a business from scratch has the highest failure rate. Well, let's buy an existing business. I bought a flower shop. Well, the great thing when I looked at this business was I could see the financial statements for the last 5 years that it had been in business. I could see that it had great cash flow, and they were known in St. Simon's as being an excellent flower shop. So I had a lot of goodwill. There was customers, there were employees, the systems were in place. What are some of the disadvantages of buying an existing business? Well, this employee right here, he was my full-time head designer. If he would have left, I would have been in trouble. That was my biggest fear. So I had to make it very advantageous for him to stay with me because I didn't know how to make flower arrangements. So I did. I let him drive the company van home every night. He didn't have health insurance. I gave him health insurance, or I paid for it. So there are changes once you buy a business that are going to have to be made. That goodwill, what if it had been bad will? What if there was a reputation of that business that I wasn't aware of? Poor training. I had to make a lot of changes in the way, not how he was making the flower arrangements, but the systems within the flower business that they had. They didn't have any social media. They weren't giving insurance to their employees. And the training was lacking. They kind of did things the way they wanted to. So when you come in and buy an existing business, you're going to try your management skills out. And I learned real quick how I manage professional technical employees at Hewlett-Packard was quite different than managing a more creative workforce in a very small town that kind of was like, oh, we'll do it tomorrow. So keep in mind too, that when you start a business, look at your management style, because you're probably going to have to make changes to it. So overall, buying an existing business is safer than starting something from scratch, but don't think you're just going to walk in and it's going to be a piece of cake. There is going to be some changes to be made. So let's talk about buying a franchise. Well, the big thing is the name recognition, the Monarchies, the Mosquito Squad, the Tudor Doctor, the McDonald's, whatever. If you have that name recognitions with that trademark, that is a big step for you up front. Proven business systems. Again, when you buy into a franchise, those systems are going to be set up for you and you're going to be trained on them. Training, you're going to be trained not only on that franchise, but you're going to be trained on the industry. So you haven't been in that industry in the past, The franchisor wants you to be successful, and they will give you that training. It has the lowest failure rate of the 3 ways to start a business overall. You're going to have more financing options because you have a proven business process that's already defined. Most of the franchise will go through a process to be, quote, approved by the SBA. So if they've got that approval, it's not a guarantee that you will get a loan because you're going to be responsible for paying that debt. But it is a positive star, if you will, when the bank looks at it and says, oh, this is approved by the SBA. So that's a head start in getting started on your funding. So what's some of the disadvantages? Well, fewer industries. Like I said, someone from the gas and oil company wanted me to find a business in gas and oil. I was like, well, I'm not sure what we're going to do there. I had a gentleman recently come to me and he wanted a hunting franchise. I wasn't aware of any. So you may not be able to start the business with your passion, hunting or playing golf or whatever. But I tell people, buy a business, run it passionately because you want to be successful. And the money you make, enjoy your hobbies, enjoy your outside loves. Don't turn your business passion, your hobby passion into a job. And I'm going to show you some books later. And there's one called The E-Myth. And that book's about case studies of people that did that. There was one lady in there who started a bakery because she always baked for her friends, her family, her coworkers, and everyone loved her product. But then she decided to open a bakery and turn this passion into a business. A year later, the consultant checked with her and said, how's the bakery? And she, oh, the bakery's great. It's doing real good. And he said, so you're happy? And she goes, no, I hate my business. She had turned her passion of giving gifts of baked goods to friends into a business. Those friends and coworkers and family members and customers. So just be careful. You will have a restricted territory. That's maybe good or bad. The good part is you will have a defined territory and the franchisor will not admit another franchisee into your territory, which means you can't go out and sell in another territory either unless you buy the license for that. You can only sell their products or services. You can't go into McDonald's and sell Aunt Mary's favorite sponge cake, okay? And you will pay the ongoing royalties, which people say, well, I don't want to share my profits. Well, you are paying them up front with that royalty and every month for that continued support for them to do the R&D and to help you make changes. So something to consider. So what exactly is a franchise? Well, as I said, it's an individual or a group of investors who start a business. They run it for a few years and they decide, ooh, there's a lot of interest in this. Why don't we sell individuals a license to reproduce our one model? So that is what you do. You buy a license, you pay a franchise fee up front. That's usually, I see it anywhere from $25,000 to $50,000 usually. That's the cash you're going to need to invest in a franchise. So you buy that franchise and you get the rights to use their names, their trademarks, the golden arches, if we go back to McDonald's, and sell their products, and you get their business systems that have already been created. And yes, you will pay a franchise fee directly to the franchisor, and you will pay an ongoing royalty. Again, I see that anywhere between I've actually seen some at 20%. However, majority of them is usually between 5 and 7%, and that's of your gross sales for that continued support. So now let's talk about some of these myths about franchising, okay? First, well, I think we've addressed this, but I'm going to show you some more specific. It's all about fast food and retail. Well, the thing is, if you look at this little pie here, business services, automotive, retail services, other personal services, there's more than 3,600 different franchises out there and more than in 90 industries. So let's just look at some examples. I like to point these two out because I worked with the SBDC and the gentleman who is a veteran that started College Hunk several years ago there in Myrtle Beach area. And the gentleman I just told you about started You've Got Maids, which is a maid service that he started last year about this time. So we've got mosquito services. We've got professional services. This is an IT company. We've got tree services, come in, trim your trees. That's something else I had done this year. I have a gentleman here in Charleston that opened Monster Tree about 3 years ago. And he comes in once a year and trims up my trees for me. Here's another professional service, expense reduction analyst. This is consultants that go in and help organizations, other businesses reduce their costs in some line area, whether it be shipping, whether it be HR, whether it be supply, inventory. They find a line item that needs to be decreased, and through a process that they have, they help that company. So B2B or business to business, one business, a franchise in this circumstance, helping other businesses be successful. Hair salons. Here's a recycling business, the clothesbin. I love this one. Here's a sign company. So these are some of the businesses that I've helped people start here in the Carolinas. So just keep in mind, it's not all about food. I don't have one food franchise up there. So what about businesses are successful because of their product, the quality of their product? Well, yes, you've got to have a good product, but is it all about the product? Okay, let's pull up the golden arches again. Can you make a hamburger? And is that nice, fat, juicy with all your secret ingredients that you put on your grill at home? Does it taste better than McDonald's? Well, of course it does. So if it's not the McDonald's product, then what is it that makes a franchise successful? Well, I keep talking about business systems, and this is what it's all about. Those business systems that are in place that you are trained on to help you run your business, marketing, sales, operations, accounting. All these systems, the franchisor is going to help you get started, recommend business services that you can use so you don't have to make those decisions on your own. You don't have to recreate the wheel. It's the business systems. It's McDonald's business systems over the last 70 years where they have been successful. It's not their hamburger, okay? You go to McDonald's because you know you're in a hurry, you get it, you know what it's going to taste like, and you can live with it. But you'd much rather go home and have a really good hamburger. Okay, franchises are too expensive. Yep, those McDonald's cost a couple $1 million. Well, I like this chart because if you look here, 11% of all the, 3,600 types of franchises out there, you can get into for under $50,000. So if you combine this square, 50 to 100 with those under 100, you've got 25%, 27% of all those businesses out there you can get into for under $100,000. Now, 20% of all of them, so 80% you can get into for under $500,000. So there's lots of opportunity out there for you where you don't have to spend the $2 million, even $500,000, okay? Keep that in mind. So how much do you need? Now, when I say you need $100,000 to start this franchise, and I'll say the mosquito spraying business, the maid service, the professional services are around $70,000 to $100,000 for their systems. That's still, how much is too much? When I say it's $100,000, keep in mind, that is the total investment. That's the dollar you're going to need to open your business. That does not mean that on day one, you pay the franchisor $100,000. You are paying the franchisor the franchise fee, which I explained earlier was usually around $20,000 to $50,000. That's what you're going to need up front. And if you're going to go to the bank and borrow the other $75,000, they're going to see your skin in the game, so to speak. If I lend you $70,000, you're going to have to put in 30 to make that 100, because why would they give a total stranger $100,000 when they know nothing about you? So they want to see that you have confidence and faith in yourself. But if the franchise fee is $25,000, well, what's the other? Well, like the cleaning service, okay? He needed to buy a van, he needed to hire employees, he needed insurance, he needed supplies, he needed an office space for his maids to come in and get organized every day. He needed a marketing and social media system set up. So The $25,000 franchise fee is what you're going to pay to the franchisor. This other $75,000, if you will be paid to vendors and utilities and employees and marketing programs to run your business. So keep that in mind. That $100,000 does not all go to the franchisor. Those expenses you would have to pay anyway if you started your own business. Well, still $75,000, how am I going to borrow this money? Well, your own personal savings, maybe friends and relatives or a partner. Just be careful. You always heard, don't go into business with a friend or a family member. People I've seen in the last year are using their equity in their home. And another way to finance your business that a lot of people aren't aware of is utilizing your 401 that perhaps you have built up over the last 10 years in your company where you've worked. The government will allow you to use those funds in your 401 or your IRA to start your own C corporation, a business. Now, there's no tax or no penalties, but there's some strict rules in setting that up. So if you want to know more about that approach, please contact me and I can put you in touch with organizations who specialize in helping you with that, quote, rollover to use your funds and start a business. Okay, industry experience. Industry experience, if I'm going to be in the yard service, in the tree cutting, in the hair salons, in the professional services, I've got to have some experience. Well, let me point out that the franchisors, when I talk to them, they are looking for a few things. They're looking for people that will follow their systems. If you buy a franchise, you have to be the type of individual that will follow the rules, that will follow the systems. Why buy a franchise and have everything set up for you if you're not going to follow the rules? If you're one of these people that like to do it your own way, this probably is not the right path for you. They want people who is going to focus on being the owner. They're going to do the business, the management. They're going to have people skills and communication. They're going to work on the business, not in the business. Remember, I said I didn't do the flowers. I worked on the business, the payroll, the marketing, the community service, whatever it took to make that business successful. So that's what a franchisor is looking for. They want to see what skills you've had in business, and they will train you on how to run your own business. As it says here, they will train you on how to use their systems and how to be successful. So let's look at some of these businesses and see who actually bought them. Well, let's see. This was a college professor who bought You've Got Maids. Well, they were good with people skills, but You've Got Maids had to show them how to hire and train their employees, how to do their marketing. I like this one, an international banker who bought several beauty franchises. He bought several blow dry bar, a hair salon, and he bought several Waxing the City. For you ladies, you know what Waxing the City is. But why did he buy into the beauty industry? Well, he was a financial guy. He looked at the numbers. He saw the opportunity there. Had a gentleman last year who bought a painting contractor service. He was a 30-year retiree from Ford in, is it Chicago or Detroit? I'm getting mixed up. He was a marketing manager, and he saw the potential to meet his lifestyle, and that's really what he was looking for, lifestyle change, and use his marketing skills. So just think of, you don't have to be in these industries, but you can use your skills you developed to be successful and be trained by the franchisor. So your transferable skills, it might be sales and marketing, it might be customer service, whatever it is, you're transferring the skills you developed into running your own business. So what is our process in helping people? Well, the first thing I would like you to do, and I'll give you the link here in a moment, is fill out an online assessment. And that assessment is going to help you organize your thoughts as to what are your skills? What are your interests? Where have you been successful in the past? What do you not want to do? It will ask for a simple balance sheet because we want to make sure you are not overextending yourself and you're financially qualified to invest in this business. We'll then sit down and have a face-to-face meeting if you're comfortable with that. If not, we'll do a Zoom meeting. and we'll build this business model I've been talking about. I will present, whoa, did I just lose you all? There. Bernita, I hope we're still there. We'll build a business model, and I will present companies, franchises that I feel is a good match for you, your skills, your interests, your financial situation, that you could be successful. And then I'm going to get you started on your research. I'm going to provide mentoring and coaching. I'm going to provide, with Bernita's help, some other resources that you're going to need in the financial, the legal, the insurance, that you're going to need to do your thorough research. Here's the link to the personal franchise assessment. It's FranNet/myname/CQ for confidential questionnaire. And again, fill that out, if nothing else, to help you organize your thoughts on starting a business. If you'd like to discuss it afterwards, I'd be happy to meet with you and go over a very detailed analysis of what the results are. This is the business model I've been talking about. As I said, be careful when you buy a business, any business, but a franchise, because you love the ice cream, okay? You need to look at the employees. Do you want to manage professional employees, what you've done in the past? That was my experience when I bought a flower shop. I had to change my management style. Or do you want to, if you buy an ice cream place, you're going to manage teenagers. Well, I don't want to manage teenagers. What kind of customers do you want? Do you want a business that you're providing a service or a product to another business? Or would you like to have a physical product that you can sell to the end consumer, a service or a product? Do you want a new industry or an emerging industry? Or do you want one that's been around for 20, 30 years? Do you want to work 8 days? Whoops, 8 days a week, that's a song. 7 days a week? Do you want to work 5 days a week? Do you want to work in the morning, in the afternoon? How do you want to run your business? Think about how this is going to fit into your personal life, okay? And we will go in detail about defining this business model. So again, we can match you and your needs and wants with the criteria of that business to make you successful. Bernita was sharing some of her success stories, and I wanted to share some of ours at FranNet. Our process has helped many, many, many thousands of people be successful business owners. And when we follow up with them after 2 years, 91% of those new franchisees are still in business, compared to 64% overall through the US Census numbers. And again, after 5 years, we find that 85% of our clients that we work with are still in business, compared to 50% through the US Census that does their data gathering. The other thing we're really impressed with and proud of is we find that our franchisees that we help start a business, 15% of them are top performers, okay? They're like in the top 10 of all the franchisees across the country. And we're proud of that. So we feel like we've done a good job in helping people find the business that they'll be successful in. As Bernita pointed out, you're going to need a lot of help. And the SBDC, they've been very helpful with my clients in helping them put together the business plan and helping them do their financial projections as they start getting closer to making their decision. You're going to need a franchise attorney, not a real estate attorney, not a divorce attorney, but someone who understands franchise law and that FDD we talked about. You're going to need an accountant. You're going to need a financial advisor. Bernita and myself are happy to refer you to people locally that can help you in these areas. And here's some books that you may want to check out. More Than Just French Fries. I'm very proud that Jenna Bailey, the CFO of FranNet, actually co-authored this with the past president of SCORE. The E-Myth Revisited is what I mentioned earlier by Michael Gerber. He wrote the one about the lady who opened the bakery, and he gives other case studies in there. And then Street Smart Franchising by Joe Matthews. That is a book that's really the good, the bad, the ugly of franchising. I really suggest you read that if you're thinking of this seriously. So how do you research franchise opportunities? You do your research. And if you're going to start a business on your own or buy an existing business, still do your research. But following the FranNet's proven process that we've developed over the last 30 years, we can help you safely find the right business for you. You're going to be able to talk to the franchisors. You're going to ask them every question that's on your mind. You're going to have the FDD to review and get a franchise attorney to help you. You're going to speak with existing franchise owners to ask them on their experience, their success, and the support the franchisor is giving them. So do your research, and I'm happy to discuss this in more detail with each of you individually. And in order to do that, here is my contact information and also Bernita's. Bernita, I want to thank you. Janet, hello, I haven't spoken to you today, but I've worked with Janet in the past. And I just want to give kudos to that whole team there in Conway. You guys are great. So down here is the link for the assessment. Please let me know how I can help you. And I know, Bernita, we're running close to 2 o'clock, but are there any questions I can help people with?
So we're good. Questions in the chat box, Kathy, which means that you have been a wealth of knowledge as always, and we greatly appreciate your time and all of this information. As Kathy said, I would encourage each of you that, if you think you're interested in franchising, please reach out to her, take the assessment, connect with her, and see what FranNet may be able to do for you and if franchising is the right fit for you. We do appreciate all of your time today and spending an hour of your afternoon with us. If you will, after today's webinar, you will receive a link to complete a survey. Please take a minute or two to complete that survey. Let us know how we did, and let us know if you have any additional concerns or insight for us. And once you complete that survey, we will send you out a link to today's recording so you can have this and play it back as many times as you need to follow up. If anybody has any questions, you're welcome to put them in the chat, but I don't see any right now. So I wish you all a great afternoon. Reach out to the SBDC or FranNet if we can help in any way. Thank you so much, folks, and have a good one.
Thank you.